Let know. A March 19, 1943 Karasara, do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. I was very glad to gather from your conversation yesterday afternoon that you have a serious intention of taking up the great work in the proper spirit. Your criticisms of previous experience in the course of your adventures appeared to be singularly sane and just. As I promised, I am writing this letter to cover a few practical points which we had not time to discuss and which in any case I think it better to arrange by correspondence. 1. It is of the first importance that you should understand my personal position. It is not actually wrong to regard me as a teacher, but it is certainly liable to mislead. Fellow student, or, if you like, fellow sufferer, seems a more appropriate definition. The climax of my life was what is known as the Cairo working, described in the minutest detail in the Equinox of the Gods. At that time most of the Book of the Law was completely unintelligible to me, and a good deal of it, especially the third chapter, extremely antipathetic. I fought against this book for years, but it proved irresistible. I do not think I am boasting unfairly when I say that my personal researches have been of the greatest value and importance to the study of the subject of magic and mysticism in general, especially my integration of the various thought systems of the world, notably the identification of the system of the Yi King with that of the Kabbalah. But I do assure you that the whole of my life's work, were it multiplied 1,000-fold, would not be worth 1/10 of the value of a single verse of the Book of the Law. I think you should have a copy of the Equinox of the Gods and make the Book of the Law your constant study. Such value as my own work may possess for you should amount to no more than an aid to the interpretation of this book. 2. It may be that later on you will want a copy of 8 lectures on yoga, so I am putting a copy aside for you in case you should want it. 3. With regard to the OTO, I believe I can find you a typescript of all the official documents. If so, I will let you have them to read, and you can make up your mind as to whether you wish to affiliate to the 3rd degree of the order. I should consequently, in the case of your deciding to affiliate, go with you through the script of the rituals and explain the meaning of the whole thing, communicating, in addition, the real secret and significant knowledge of which ordinary masonry is not possessed. For the horoscope, I do not like doing these at all, but it is part of the agreement with the Grand Treasurer of the OTO that I should undertake them in worthy cases, if pressed. But I prefer to keep the figure to myself for future reference, in case any significant event makes consultation desirable. Now there is one really important matter. The only thing besides the Book of the Law which is in the forefront of the battle. As I told you yesterday, the first essential is the dedication of all that one is and all that one has to the great work, without reservation of any sort. This must be kept constantly in mind. The way to do this is to practice Liberatio Helios, sub figura cc, pages 425 to 426, Magick. There is another version of these adorations, slightly fuller, but those in the text are quite all right. The important thing is not to forget. I shall have to teach you the signs and gestures which go with the words. It is also desirable before beginning a formal meal to go through the following dialogue. Knock 353, say, do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law. The person at the other end of the table replies, what is thy will? You, it is my will to eat and drink. He, to what end? You, that my body may be fortified thereby. He, to what end? You, that I may accomplish the great work. He, love is the law, love under will. You, with a single knock, fall to. When alone make a monologue of it, thus, knock 353. Do what, etc. It is my will to, etc., that my body, etc., that I may, etc., love is, etc. Knock, and begin to eat. It is impossible to exaggerate the importance of performing these small ceremonies regularly, and being as nearly accurate as possible with regard to the times. You must not mind stopping in the middle of a crowded thoroughfare, lorries or no lorries, and saying the adorations, and you must not mind snubbing your guest, or your host, if he or she should prove ignorant of his or her share of the dialogue. It is perhaps because these matters are so petty and trivial in appearance that they afford so excellent a training. They teach you concentration, mindfulness, moral and social courage, and a host of other virtues. Like a perfect lady, I have kept the titbit to the last. It is absolutely essential to begin a magical diary, and keep it up daily. You begin by an account of your life, going back even before your birth to your ancestry. In conformity with the practice which you may perhaps choose to adopt later, given in Liberthi Subfigurationcii, paragraphs 27-28, Magick, pages 420 to 422, you must find an answer to the question, how did I come to be in this place at this time, engaged in this particular work? As you will see from the book, this will start you on the discovery of who you really are, and eventually lead you to your recovering the memory of previous incarnations. As it is difficult for you to come to town except at rare and irregular intervals, may I suggest a plan which has previously proved very useful, and that is a weekly letter. Iamblichus did this with the Baron Spedal, and the correspondence is one of the most interesting of his works. You ask such questions as you wish to have answered, and I answer them to the best of my ability. I, of course, add spontaneous remarks which may be elicited by my observations on your progress and the perusal of your magical diary. This, of course, should be written on one side of the paper only, so that the opposite page is free for comments, and an arrangement should be made for it to be inspected at regular intervals. Love is the law, love under will. For eternally, 666.